Good afternoon. If you want an accurate look at what van life is like, well, I don't know if this is accurate, but I just spent the last 3 hours trying to plan where I'm going next. And I wanted to talk about that, as well as document this for my future self. So I have about 3 weeks to spend in this area, and then I'll need to come back to Harrisonburg. And I'm trying to figure out where to go. I'm really in the mindset of I want to work, get focused work done. And my first and top option has been finding some place to camp in the forest with good solar and a good clearing enough for Starlink internet. And so there's there's a good amount of national forest out here, but I went through so many spots on iOverlander looking at photos, and the number of places with clearings for solar and for Starlink are just so minimal. There are some, but it's like, it would be like, I just don't want to put all my eggs in one basket in terms of, it's like, yeah, there's this one spot in, you know, the northern part of North Carolina, and that's the only one I've seen in like 100 miles. And so it's like, well, what if I drive all the way there and there's somebody in that spot? Like, so I'm looking up all up and down Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and I'm starting to think this is not this is not really what I had hoped. And so I started to second guess myself and think maybe I shouldn't like go for camping. And maybe instead I should just go for some urban van life for the next 2.5 weeks. Because I know it's 2.5 weeks. Um, I've already bought my flight, so yeah. So then I started looking at, are there any good cities with good urban van life amenities? You know, places to camp, Cracker Barrels, Walmarts, residential parking, that kind of stuff. Uh, and I found some. Uh, I want to rewind a little bit first. I'm interested in the Great Smoky Mountains range, Blue Ridge Mountains, whatever they're called. It's like Asheville, North Carolina, that surrounding area. It seems to be the highest mountain peaks in the east. I don't know if that's true, but I did look at an elevation map, and those were the highest in the area. So, like, that looks cool, and I would like to explore that. But at the same time, I want to get work done. And I think that I want that to take more priority than um, than exploring. So I started looking at a whole bunch of cities and places in the area to go to, and looking at cities and towns that had good coffee shops that I could work from. I landed on Richmond, Virginia, which honestly, Richmond looks like so good for urban van life. Like there's this whole neighborhood of like mixed residential, a bunch of trees, some commercial and shops. I'm like, I there are infinite camp spots here. And the coffee shops look good, but I'm just not sold on the greater area of Richmond. And so going there would be like strictly for just work every day, coffee shop, wake up. There's probably an Anytime Fitness there. I didn't check though. But so I got like halfway through and I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to Richmond, get this done, come back. And then I was like, well, this this Great Smoky Mountain, like I like mountains, And this area looks interesting. And Asheville, North Carolina, and Chattanooga, Tennessee look interesting, and like the surrounding area. And so I'm like, it's a little bit far, but also, how many opportunities am I going to get to explore that particular area? And, what if 5 years from now, what if I like it in terms of the lifestyle and suburbs and city close to the mountains, national forests? What if I like it? And so I'm like, well, what if in 5 to 10 years I like this area? If I don't go now, I may never have that opportunity to know. So I think I'm driving to North Carolina. Yeah, it's like 6 hours, six and a half, something like that. Yeah, or was it 5.5? Something like that. And I'm worried because the Asheville seems kind of mixed in terms of the urban van life camp spots. I see some residential. I see a couple commercial places to camp. Um, I'm just a little worried. But I think I can make it work. And then I think the idea is maybe I do that for a week. Maybe I go to Chattanooga. That seemed also friendly. Camp spots, commercial places, coffee shops. Um, and then it might be too much to ask to go by Richmond on my way back. But yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. But it's a little out of the way. But anyway, I this is one of those things that unfortunately takes longer than I would like. Planning travels and figuring out, it's like all of the things, the administrative things that it takes to run this kind of life. Some people just, they travel as their main thing. And so staying at a Walmart or whatever, is fine, but that's not exactly my objective. I'm not that type of van lifer. So, yeah. And at the end of my session, I was like, I think it's coming down to I'm not going to know the alternative. Like I'm sure if I go to Richmond and spend the next 2.5 weeks there, it would be great. I would get so much work done. It would be a great experience. But I'd always be like, you know, I've always wanted to go to the Great Smoky Mountains area. And if I go to Asheville and the Great Smoky Mountains area, I'm sure it'll be great and I'll get a lot of work done and the mountains will be beautiful. But I'll be like, I wonder what it'd be like if I had gone to Richmond. Like maybe I get a knock or I get kicked out somewhere in Asheville. And I think, if I had gone to Richmond, this wouldn't have happened. So it's like you're never gonna know the alternative. So you just gotta pick one and just do it. Like there will be regrets in both options. So just pick your regrets. Pick your downsides. I guess I'm going to North Carolina. See you tomorrow.